I'd like to call to order the September meeting of the Mayor of City Council of the City of Taneytown, and ask Mayor Pro Tem Foster to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Vigliotti's not feeling well tonight. Everybody else is here and accounted for. Welcome, everyone. First order of business is the approval of the minutes of August 9th and August 14th. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
I move that we approve as amended.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So carried. I'd like to just ask council if they see any items on the agenda that may pose a conflict of interest tonight.
No, sir.
No.
Consensus, there is none. Moving into resolutions, ordinances, and agreements, the introduction tonight of ordinance 10-2017, outdoor displays, services in the downtown business district. Anybody have any questions on that? You'll see with the introduction, a public hearing has been set for October the 4th.
I was glad to see that set in for the hearing in this agenda for October 4th.
Okay. Next, we have up for adoption Resolution 2017-12, the water allocation for September 2017. I care to make a motion to approve the water allocation.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Like sign. Next, we have the resolution for the Department of Housing and Community Development supporting the grant request that we have filed for facades. Anyone care to make a motion to?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So carried. Moving into city manager's report. Henry?
Well, just two things. And was it today the two officers were sworn in? And so we've got an additional two officers. We are in possession now of the deposition of that was taken a couple of months ago. The paper recording. And I guess the only other thing left is the Director of Public Works.
Right, it was discussed on Wednesday night that, of course, since Rick has retired, the Assistant Public Works Director, Kevin Smeek, has been recommended to fill that position, and our charter calls for council to confirm that position. So I'd like to recommend to council that Kevin Smeek be elevated to Utilities
I
Department.
move that he be elevated to that position.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So carried.
Okay.
Any questions for Henry? Any questions on the departmental reports? All right, let's move into the legal report, Jay.
Nothing new, just need your direction on the item regarding Planning Commission input on Board of Zoning Appeals cases. We discussed it Wednesday, and you told me you'd give me direction on how to draft the ordinance.
Anyone care to make a motion?
Do we need a motion or just direction?
Just direction, you can do it by unanimous consent, as long as there's clear direction of what to do.
Anyone like to offer a direction?
I'm requesting, so I'm going to let
I was
you
going to say,
do
did you want
that.
to?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I would offer that we allow them to make suggestions and comments on those first two issues.
Yeah. On the two
The
subjects.
two
Yeah.
subjects.
That would be variances and conditional uses.
Yes.
Right.
Good? All right, I'll have an ordinance for you next month. That's it.
Okay.
What's the appropriate place to do the absent?
Any questions for Jay? All right, let's move into, under old business tonight, I thought maybe I could bring up the council absences that we discussed last Wednesday night. Of course, Councilman Frazier was away celebrating his anniversary. I hope you had a nice time doing that.
It's unavoidable.
And we just need to make a motion that that's an acceptable absence.
Absolutely, that's acceptable. I'll make that motion. Yeah.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's an excused absence.
How many years, Councilman Frazier?
Well, I started 3 years. I planned this for Thursday. We'd bought tickets to an event. It would have cost me $2,000 to not go to it. And I knew that the agenda was not so busy this month. And I read the charter, and it said I needed to write a note to the mayor in order to request an excused absence before the meeting occurred. So I attempted to do that. He called me back, and thank you for the opportunity to go to Solomon's Island without guilt. So I appreciate
I'm sorry,
that.
how many years have you been married,
33
Councilman?
years.
33 years. That's commendable. Absolutely.
Judge Moore's function was satisfactory too, I suppose. Right?
Great. It's going to be the senator, I think.
New business, monthly financial report. Anyone care to make a motion to approve the monthly financial report?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Next, we have accounts payable. Anyone care to make a motion to approve the accounts payable?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. On Wednesday, we discussed the release or the reduction of the Public Works Agreement for Meadowbrook Section 4A and B. Anyone care to make a motion to approve that recommendation?
I'll move we approve it.
For a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Gee whiz, let's move right through that agenda real quick. Let's start with council member reports. Don, what do you have for us today?
Well, under new business, if we've not gone to that yet, I would like to request before you adjourn that we have a moment of silence for the victims of the 2 hurricanes in Florida. A lot of local responders have responded, supporting local companies, have made contributions, lots of people raising funds to help those victims. That affected my own family. My 2 daughters live in St. Petersburg and fled to Atlanta, Georgia for the worst of the hurricane this past weekend. So I'd just like to thank those that have been in prayer for those victims. I believe that prayer changes things. And I certainly think that it was appropriate for the Congress to allocate funds for Texas. And I want to thank our representatives for voting for that we could see this put behind us. It's not unusual to have hurricanes, but to have 2 like this, this intensity is unusual. And I would request before you adjourn that you might, under new business, just have a moment of silence for victims, because many lives lost and many families affected.
I hope you don't mind if I add the victims of the hurricane in Mexico and the earthquake in Mexico and the wildfires on the west
I
coast.
don't mind that. That's not,
And let's not forget the gravity of the day. Absolutely, 9/11 should be included.
And absolutely, those victims who died in 9/11. So we've got a whole lot of things to be prayerful about, to lift up to the Lord tonight. So I believe that I think a moment of silence would be very appropriate with all
That's
that's
my
going
report.
on.
So that's my report.
All right, let's pause for a moment of silence. Thank you very much. Brad, what do you have for us?
The Taneytown Lions baseball fall ball is now in full swing. We had opening weekend. I'm coaching the Taneytown rookies team. Had our first game in Mount Airy, and I'm proud to say we tied 2-2. And it wasn't everyone gets a trophy tie. It was a legitimate tie. And the kids all had a great time. They really surprised me with how well they played and how much fun. We made them play 7 innings, and that's a lot for 5 to 8-year-olds to play. But we all had a great time. My wife and I are coaching the team, and it's a lot of fun. So it's good to see baseball happening in the fall. It's not just a spring sport anymore. But that's what I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Diane, what do you have?
Well, having been absent for the last month, I don't have anything, except I'd like to thank most of you out there that I received calls and cards from for my surgery. I'm very appreciative of that. And it went a long ways to helping me along the way. I'm still going through it, though. I'm one of those people that's going to take forever. But I just want to thank everybody for their cards and well wishes, and for the floral arrangement. That I had to think what you said. I got some edible arrangements. I had to think which was yours. Okay, the floral arrangements that the city sent. Thank you very much.
Edible arrangements are nice. I remember those when I had my heart problems. I enjoyed those edible arrangements.
Yes, there.
Flowers are nice, too.
Yeah, I got a couple of those too.
But they don't taste as good.
Judy?
I don't have a single thing. I feel like I should drag it out a little bit. I just don't.
One thing I have to say is just to reiterate the fact that we have 2 new officers. One happens to be a female, by the way, which is something that I didn't realize this, but Henry corrected me. I thought it was our first female officer, but apparently we had a female officer at one time, and somehow I don't remember her. But
Clearly didn't
what
leave
are
an
you
impression.
gonna do? But anyway, we have one now, so that's very nice. So I thought that was a noteworthy mention. Remind everybody of the chapter meeting this Thursday at Flex. We're the host city, so hopefully everyone can be there. And welcome our fellow municipal officials from around the county. The LC meeting was held last week. Legislative committee meeting was held last week in Annapolis, where we we went through the legislative action request. There's like 11. And some were okay. They stretched anywhere from regulating drones to regulating cable TV antennas, cellular antennas. That's what I'm trying to do. Not cable either.
Is that the ones where they're in the right of way?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
we were. And we also had the usual highway user revenue bond. And Wednesday there'll be a decision made. Everybody, what happens is we discuss all these LARs as they come in. They're not up for debate at that time, but just up for discussion. And then folks have a week or two to mull them over, and we send in a straw poll, and we rank them between 1 and 4. A lot of them, as usual, were specifically geared to one area or another, particularly around the metropolitan area. They tend to have LARs come in that pertain particularly to the Washington area. And those typically aren't looked at, but the rule that they use is to try to target the universality of the issue. Does it affect the majority of the municipalities, the 157 municipalities, before they select? So, again, this Wednesday, we'll be selecting the ones we want to emphasize, and that'll be discussed at the fall conference, which comes up in October.
Mayor
And I
Jim,
guess that's
how
all
did you
I have.
rank the regulation of use of drones? We've been reading articles in the NACO magazine about zoning enforcers using drones for zoning enforcement, and some of
Well,
those regulations
the
were-
opinion, I
where there's
can't.
no regulations, there's some troubling things going on.
It was, there was no opinion expressed at the meeting. And my opinion on the matter was, based on the comments that were made by staff, was that this is being addressed on a federal level, and it would be more effective if it's addressed on a federal level rather than on a municipal level, because you have all the levels of government involved. You have the local, the county, the state, the federal, and unless there's laws put in place that covers all that segment, that it really won't be very effective, and it'll be hard to enforce. So the opinion is that they probably wait for the feds to do something about it.
Well, and the feds, in the latest FAR aim, which is the aviation, lack of a better word, the Bible for pilots to go by, and they included a new section in 2017's FAR aim talking about unmanned aircraft. It's talking specifically about drones. And FAA is doing a relatively decent job of keeping on top of the drone, we'll call it an epidemic, I guess. It's just a trend that people are enjoying. But at the same time, there's some regulations, especially when they're around airports, when they're over crowds and things like that. So the FAA is handling that very well.
Yeah, and that was mentioned that particularly around the Washington DC area, they're very well regulated already. So.
Yeah, they have a special flight rule area around DC that's very heavily regulated.
Okay, anybody have anything else? May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was